We talk about back plans.
Yeah.
I told, okay, it's important to at least know what you want.
Yeah.
Advocate.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm thriving.
Yeah.
You're asking me what I want.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll tell you, okay, I want this and this and this. And I also spoke about this with I was worried because he's like, I spoke to my gynae and he's like, yeah, we can do a natural birth. And I'm like, I just had a surgery a few months ago. Well, it would be a year.
Okay. Yeah.
Because someone told me, people say things and then you don't realize, like, what if you're pushing and then it ruptures? Because are you fully healed? So I had to go back to the doctor and ask her, am I fully healed? Because I don't want any major complications because now I'm refusing to have a C-section. So let's just talk about this. Walk me through this. He's like, you are fully healed. If you are not fully healed, I would have told you.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah.
I'm not you. We have been through this journey together. There's no way I'm putting this baby at risk. So yes, you are fully healed. And, those are just the concerns, after having such a big operation.
Yeah.
I don't know where we are. Where we were at some point, and then someone showed me their C-section scar. I'm like, my God, it's so tiny. And I have this like larger scar. So I was like, okay, so how is this going to work? If I give birth, will they have to open me up again? Will they, follow the scar line, and will it be as painful? So those things I needed to actually ask.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did, because he made the environment comfortable. So yeah. I asked all these questions because I do not want to be like, only because you didn't want to have a C-section, then this happened, and But of course, you plan and then God laughs. And then,
yeah.
You all know about this back.
Yep. Every time we make a plan, God laughs. So what happened?
It's out of your control.
Yeah.
I had a C-section.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once again, I was also scared of having a C-section because I thought it would be as painful as my previous surgery. And I remember not even being able to sit up, to hold things. So I'm like, will I not be able to hold my baby?
Right, yeah.
So I remember telling my husband, when the baby comes, you will need to help me a lot if I have a C-section because I won't be able to do much.
Yeah.
But after I think it happened in the evening. In the morning, I told him, take the catheter out. I want to walk. I was very much okay.
Wow.
I was fine. And I was so happy. I remember being happy that I was not in pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so weird because I experienced so much pain before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, and then everybody's asking, I'm fine. I can walk after a day,
Yeah. So was it the comparison?
It was.
Yeah, because obviously the previous surgery was so much more painful for you.
So much more.
Yeah.
I couldn't even sit up by myself.
Yeah.
For like 3 days, I couldn't wash myself. Like, those things. Like, and I was really worried because I'm like, on top of this, and taking care of a baby.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. So I already started prepping my husband, like, just in case, you'll have to do this, you'll have to do that. But I thank God I didn't have to go through that. So I'm grateful. So it was an emergency C-section. She started getting tired. But once again, that doctor was really quick.
Yeah.
In 5 minutes, I was in theater.
Yeah.
And the baby was out.
Yeah.
In like 45 minutes, they prepped everything. Everything went smoothly. I didn't feel like at some point I'm like, these people are not sure what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's the most scary part because also you're not in control.
Exactly. Now you need to be with people, with a team that knows their ish.
Yeah. Yeah.
You really do, because otherwise, especially like I was saying before, you're feeling vulnerable. You are vulnerable in pregnancy, but then over and above that, during birth is like you're most vulnerable.
Yeah.
So you felt comfortable, and this doctor was with you, as he said, with 100%. You from the get-go. We're having a baby.
Like even when he was getting ready, I remember Jacaranda. I will never forget. And they were playing music.
Yeah.
And the anesthetist knew him too. I think they went to University of Pretoria together.
Yeah.
And they were busy chatting about varsity days. So I'm like, so these guys are not panicking.
Yeah.
But if you're doing this and working, that relaxed me.
Yeah.
Because I was on the edge.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these guys are fine. People are laughing in here.
Yeah.
Like, there's joy. So they're not panicking, So everything went smoothly. It went so fast. And I was happy. I was happy. Like, I gave birth. I don't care if it was not a vaginal birth. As another funny comment. When they told me now I had to go into an emergency C-section. So I was panicking because of the heart rate of my daughter at that point. And this lady's holding me, right? They're pushing quickly to the theater, and this black lady told me, "Don't worry, you'll still be a woman, you'll still be a mother. I know you're not giving birth like naturally, but you'll still be." I remember her saying, "You'll still be a mother, you'll still be a woman." I'm like, that's the least of my concern. Like that, and it's so interesting how
it's real though, because the thing is, obviously now that you're sharing this, is we might be like, oh, okay, was that necessary?
Yeah.
But there's so many women, unfortunately, who do go through that whole thing of they prayed for, they wished for, they expected to give birth naturally. And then you also have the societal pressures, maybe the pressures from the husband side of the family as well. There is definitely a big stigma, as I think, especially in African families, of you need to push the baby. Like, and I've gotten that. I don't know if you've gotten that, because I'm a C-section mom.
Yeah.
I've been met with, comments of, oh, you don't know what real motherhood is like. Because I didn't push my babies out, or, you can't really, exactly that. You can't really say that you're really a mom because you didn't give birth. It's like, but C-section is still birth. Like, did I not carry my child all those months? There's all of that meant for nothing, and everything that happened after I gave birth means nothing. So I think, and I'm glad for you. I'm really glad for you that you didn't have that, you didn't hold on to that sort of dream that you were going to give birth naturally, and that your focus was on your baby
plan and according to and once again, a lot of relinquishing control,
right?
And I think because of what happened to me previously, I was not about to risk the life of my baby for so you didn't give birth naturally.
Yeah. And
secondly is, I think because we live in South Africa, we don't get too much of that.
Yeah.
Yes, I did get a comment here and there about when we were choosing our birth plans and stuff. Comment like, because my gynae is like, she wants a smooth procedure, so he will give me an epidural if I want. He wants to make it as chilled as possible.
Right.
We just want to get the baby out, mama happy, baby happy.
Yeah.
Not us screaming.
Right.
That is not, that doesn't make birth.
Yeah.
Understand?
Yeah.
So he said, if you want an epidural, I will administer it to you. So I did mention it to someone, and they said, but are you experiencing birth? Are you giving birth though if you're not even in pain? So the comments were there. So even if I had given birth naturally and had an epidural, they wouldn't count that as birth. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
And once again, I think us living out of that home, your auntie's always at your ear.
Yeah.
I think that helps.
Yeah.
Because I only get to hear this once a year, once a year and a half if you go home or encounter people who are really traditional. But yeah, I remember my mom telling me about my cousin who was crying, actually, because you just reminded me, because she did not want a C-section. She was told that it's an emergency, the baby was breech. There was nothing
There's nothing you can do with
at that point. They really tried.
Yeah.
There was nothing they could do.
Yeah.
She was crying because she didn't want a C-section.
Yeah.
The doctors had to take 10 minutes and that is 10 minutes.
Yeah.
C-section time is
a lot of time.
It's a lot of time to actually tell her that it's okay. You will be fine. You will heal properly. People will still consider you as his mom. You carried this child.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that is the society we come from. And she was like so sad. I remember even when my mom went to visit her in hospital, she was like, yeah, this is what happened to me. But my mom then encouraged her and said, Wakesho also gave birth to C-section. And the baby is fine, the baby is happy. It does not take away, not even 1 second, sure, anything about your motherhood. In fact, your motherhood starts now.
Yes.
So that made her feel a bit better.
I agree with your mom. And also like to add, your motherhood started when you were pregnant. Even before the birth. And it continues afterwards.
This is true.
Yeah.
So you couldn't take it, this birth segment of your life wouldn't take away the whole
everything
process of
exactly.
motherhood.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was it's actually good that we've touched on that African societal pressure, because it's there.
It's very real, and a lot of people don't want to let you forget that you weren't a real woman, and I put that in quotes. You weren't a so-called real woman because you didn't give birth, naturally, vaginally or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that it's messing up a lot of women and their experiences when it comes, and how confident they feel as mothers, how adequate they feel as mothers. So can you imagine starting your motherhood journey that way, thinking already that you failed?
It's quite sad, and
it's very sad.
If you go deeper into the African society, then I'm so glad that we are from Africa and we are having these conversations, because I speak to people who are from other African societies whereby, like, in their home, if you give birth in a hospital and you're refusing to give birth, like if your baby is breech, or it has to be a really, really serious situation that you have to do a CS.
Yeah.
So us here, we are lucky.
Yeah.
And opt.
Yeah.
And actually opt.
Yeah.
C-section, even if there is nothing wrong with the baby. So in a situation where something happens and you have to give birth via C-section, sometimes in those hospitals, they will call you a failure to your face. They will say, your sister was here and she gave birth naturally and she didn't have to do this C-section thing.
Imagine.
What are you doing?
As if any of that is in your control. Yeah. I do wonder with those situations, I tread carefully saying this, but I do wonder if it's one of those things that it's more honorable to die from giving birth than to live and you chose to have a C-section.
I guess then you will die a hero.
That's what I'm thinking. Like you're a martyr.
Yeah. Rather than living a failure.
Yeah. Because let's be real, that is the the consequence. Of if there are these kinds of complications, they can be fatal.
Yeah.
It's not one of those things that it's like, oh, there's complications, okay, but it's like, no, there's complications, you can die. Birth is a life or death situation.
And
almost every time.
And sometimes they don't put it that way.
Exactly.
They don't put it that way for you. They just say, oh, now your baby.
Yeah.
And then they'll tell you didn't eat the veggies or you didn't do the exercise. Why is your baby breech? Like, it is your fault as a mother. Like, it's so deep. It runs so deep. Like, in some of those situations, I had a friend of mine saying that even the husbands are not allowed in. So you have no support.
Yeah. As in, when you're giving birth.
Yes. So if your mom's not there for you, or your sister is not there, then
that's it. That's just you and the hospital team.
And the hospital team who will actually like hail insults if you're taking too long to give birth. If you're laboring for too long, if you're having like weird complications, they will hail insults even as you're going into the C-section room. So can you imagine that? So it's good that as African girls saying that it's actually okay to have a C-section.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with you. And your baby doesn't come out looking or acting oddly or
different.
I mean, if you think about it, and I say this all the time whenever I do talk about C-sections and some other things that the world is very good at shaming us women for. Think about every single person in your life who is good, who is kind, who helps you, who supports you, who pays you, who, does like contribute something valuable to your life. Do you know if they were born via C-section or natural birth?
That's actually a good point.
Like, do you know?
No, it doesn't matter.
It is
no one will ever ask them.
Yeah. It is inconsequential.
Yep.
That for me is that's why for me, I let go of this whole thing of, oh, I didn't give birth, naturally or whatever. For me, I'm just like, I survived. I am fine, my children are fine.
Yes.
They're healthy, and that's all that needs to be done. And for me, it goes with breastfeeding versus formula feeding. It goes with, so many things.
We're out. I feel like sometimes we're at war with each other.
Unnecessarily.
And the reality is we're all just trying to survive.
We're all just trying to survive.
This motherhood thing.
Yeah.
We're all just trying to, be the best version of moms as we can be.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.